Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. Today we sit inside a fully customised Porsche. This is the RUF 03, comes before the GT04, and this is where this car comes to the track as a potential alternative for the GT04. If we're actually going to give the Porsche driver an actual choice, an alternative car, it could be the RUF CTR3. Very much similar likings to the GT04 if you look where the engine's positioned. Well in front of the back wheels as a mid-engine car. Again, stunning, beautiful red livery. I've got so many red cars because it's such a good colour. So let's take a look at the setup. So the CTR38 CTR3 is the engine model. It's mid-engine rear-wheel drive. It's got a turbo 797.10, so it comes in well underneath the target. Brake horsepower 921, it's probably at the top end of the power capabilities. Fully customizable racing suspension with no adjustments. We're on racing softs, so we're going to have to two-stop this one. Differential fully customizable set to 555. Downforce 300 on the front, 350 on the rear. It's got everything. ECU set to 100. The ballast is the fully customizable ECU as well, by the way. So no ballast or no power reductions. Transmissions fully customizable, racing set to 330. It does have front splitter, side skirts and a rear with a rear wing high level set to 20M plates. Medium turbocharger, racing air cleaner, silencer and exhaust manifold. Brake system at racing slotted, brake pads racing. Brake controller added but nothing changed, set to the middle. Racing clutch and flywheel, and then we have the engine balance tuning, polish ports, titanium conrods, racing crankshaft, all the weight reduction and all the increased body rigidity. Let's take it to the track. So then, these are just options for our Porsche drivers out there. If you want to choose a Porsche, we've only got one slot in the race for a Porsche, so we'll just have to see where it goes. Settings will be assist, traction control 1, default ABS, and the usual ASM with counter steer assistance on strong. Controller settings, controller sensitivity on 5, force feedback max torque 5, force feedback sensitivity 6. Let's not waste any time, let's get down to it. Fuel map straight to 6, and then we've got to be very frugal with the fuel. We've got to just short shift to get us to where we need to be. We need to complete 5 laps. And we will be making direct comparisons with this car to the GT04. Fuel is already to the 5, so let's see where we can push on. Mr. Wilk just giving us stress on the inside there. Looks like we can give the GT3 cars a bit of a run for their money. Feels very stable into the corners. Nice downforce because we're able to give it everything. It doesn't have that front wheel washout like the Carrera GT04 did. First gear for this corner. Give Mr. Bishop a little bit of a tap. Mr. Cookerburn looking to take the wide line in there. Mr. Cookerburn just sliding his car in front of us on the exit of the corner there. I just wanted to give him a tap to let him know we were here. So this car very, very, very competitive. We don't really have to be so frugal on the fuel. Let's see where it gets to on the second lap. Braking just before the 150. We're into 10th place. It stops very well. I don't have any concerns for this car going into this. Having to go round Mr. Hizal there. Had to use the grass. Mr. Grady and Mr. Yamanaka not really getting in the way at all. We're good on fuel. This car is gonna romp it. "13 seconds behind Mr. Portilla." A 141 outlap isn't the fastest we've ever had, but it's been the most comfortable with fuel. Just starting to show a little bit of fuel attrition there. 2.9 as we cross the line. A 1:37.8. I can see a 35 coming up at some point in the race, but there's no way in the world these guys will move quick enough to beat that fastest lap, I wouldn't say. Just need to be a bit of, try and bring some of that fuel back just to make sure we're good to the pit stop. Mr. Fraga, who is the #1 competitor in this race, just tries to take the apex, but we'll have that. Yeah, we just need to be a little bit more tight on the fuel use. Just need to short shift a little bit. Mr. Boudoir is second place. I can still hear the tones of that V8 GT engine in front of us. Oh, they always do that, don't they, going into there? That's pretty shocking. Just 10 seconds behind Mr. Portilla. I don't think there's much chance of us catching him before his pit stop, but can we get a sight of him before he pulls in? We can't see him on the start straight, can we? Fuel will get us there now. Just 0.3 off the fastest lap. We're going to do some pretty clear track running now. Get at least 2 laps of nobody in front of us. See if we can knock in an absolute stellar lap. Felt the back end just try and come round then. Forgive me whilst I go silent, just as I'm trying to focus on getting this car around the circuit. Front end just washed out a fraction there. It didn't want to go round the corner. Too much speed. And that'll kill the lap time, won't it? We haven't got Mr. Portilla in our sights. Dives into the pit. We'll get another clear lap, but we won't get a shot at the fastest lap this time round. There we go, 1:37.154. We've got to do better next time. This is our pit-in lap, so we will take this one to the bank. Just need to be of where we are with fuel just to make sure we can get to the pits. "12 seconds in the lead ahead of Ordinaires. Purple by 1/4 of a second, so the car gets quicker with the weight reduction of the fuel burn. Tyres really getting into it. The fronts really don't suffer much, do they? Powers, the rears take a lot of the weight, a lot of the power. Get his front end to turn in, that's the way. Got to brake a little bit before the grassy knoll. "13 seconds ahead of Mr. Frager, who got past Mr. Ordonez. 14 seconds now. Fuel on 0-0. We run out as we enter pit lane. Take the softs. We're going to refuel. We're going to get everything. So, Frager in second, Ordonez third, Mendoza in fourth, Mr. Grady fifth, Mr. Lopez sixth, Rubilar seventh, and Mr. Bishop in the 458, pulling up in 8th place. Good looking car, that. Looks good on the slick. So Mr. Mendoza goes past while the rest of the fleet haul into the pit lane. Yamanaka goes on through as we leave. Portilla goes through. And there they are. So we've got somebody to chase down for a couple of laps now. Now, in honest truth, I had this setup made maybe a week ago, but I didn't like it. It was only until I opted to do the 555 option on the rear suspension that this car actually came to the fold. Fuel use was appalling. And it was only with the use of other cars that were really dodgy fueling that I was able to make the decision that I could actually use this car. It is absolute trooper. It is actually a really good plodder. It likes to do the laps. It's one of those that you've got to let it roll round the corners. Really come off the brake before you hit the corner. We're going to brake a touch there. Let it roll round. If you brake in the corners, it's not going to like it. Now Mr. Mendoza should take to the pit lane fairly swiftly. There he goes. We're now going to chase Portilla. We're going to top out in the 190s, I think. Almost, 189. We've got a little bit of overspeed against the Viper there. But we just want to make sure we've got the fuel, so no massive dramas here. Portilla won't run away from us. And it's Frager we've got to make the gap on, so if we need to get past Portilla, we should. Use the slipstream where we can. Fuel's coming back to us. The longer we just coast and roll, it's good to actually race another car and just be roughly the same pace and speed, because we're just going to manage that fuel. And there's always the opportunity to overtake him there going past the grassy knoll. He's got the one lap till he's going to pit if he carries on with standard form. Fastest lap of the race is ours at a 1:37.154. I think there's plenty of room to beat that. Didn't this time, but we are heavy with fuel, so see if we can leave Portilla a bit behind on this lap. Double change down there really helped the car get stable into that corner. Third gear worked perfectly well around that final corner there. Got good fuel at this point. Just a third of a second down, but we did check up the brakes there as we went into that slow left-hander. .5 seconds ahead of Mr. Portilla. He's going to take to the pits this time round. There's the 36, almost the 35. See if we can get that 35 this time round. This is going to definitely be inside the top 5 fastest cars on a hot lap. Already I know, I'm pretty sure this is a race winner, and it's going to be up there at the top of the tree of capable cars. All it's going to get is the disadvantage of starting 20th place on the grid, isn't it? It's going to be one of those. This could be the potential car for the final race. But you know it isn't, because I'm showing you it now. Just a 10th down. Need to find 2/10 to get across the line with the fastest lap of the race. 32 seconds, 33 seconds ahead of Mr. Hizal. We've got one lap of fuel left, which will take us there. There's a 36.3, not the fastest lap. So maybe a 35 is not going to be possible. We'd like it to be. This is the in lap, so let's just make sure we get there. We don't need to set any records. Lap 10, look, there we go. Is that Mr. Solis, who we normally catch just after the grassy knoll? We are catching him early, so there's a potential this car could lap maybe 10 cars before the end of the race. We'll have to measure that. It's a good indicator that we're half a lap ahead of where we'd normally catch. Fuel is good. No problem on fuel. We're going to take to the pitch some 39 seconds ahead of Mr. Fraga. There's a potential here we could be in the pits and out before Fraga takes to the pit. This could actually be one of the fastest two-stopper cars there is. 0.1 on the fuel, 0-0, and we don't run out just before we come in. Let's take more juice. 40 seconds ahead, so highly likely that we're going to get past these boys. Yeah, we're definitely in the pits. And the fuel gets to go in, so 41 seconds ahead it says, just waiting for them to come around. We're going to get back out into the train. and then we're going to start to lap cars all before they're even on the start-finish straight. So Fraga goes to the pits as we enter turn 1. Portilla comes through and takes up second place. He is 13.4 seconds back. Car just fighting me into the corner there with cold tyres. Maybe I triggered the ABS. Really got to start to chase it now. See if we can really get this time into, maybe it's going to be a 25. I said 25. I meant 25 minutes for the race. Ooh, overshot there. Just braking a fraction too late, being overconfident with the car. Fourth gear into the corner, power down, the front end washes out just a wee bit. Need to just back off the fuel, we're at 3.8, so if we can just coast into a couple of corners, we will grab that fuel back that we've overburnt on the opening lap. We know Mr. Portilla's going to the pit, so that 15-second gap is a little bit misleading. Here we come around just to pick up number 20 again, just to lap him again. He only unlapped himself because we pitted. Fuel's still not coming back to us, so we just got to be a bit steady. Mr. Solis just manages to get out of the way. There he goes behind us. And we're going to chase on down 19th place. Just waiting to catch Mr. Inostroza to show him his new Porsche. There's Mr. Wilk in 19th. Being released from the pit lane. We've got that fuel coming back to us all the time now. Mr. Portilla now takes to the pit lane. The real gap to the team behind is going to start to show. We should have a gaggle of 3 to 5 cars in front of us that we should be able to get around. There'll be some that are going to pit as well fairly soon. So Mendoza's gone to the pit. 41 seconds with Portilla coming out before Mendoza and Fraga. Fuel is back to where it needs to be. I know it goes without saying, but this is pretty much one of the grinders for me. Nice and quick, stress-free. Don't really have to worry about variation of much. Alright, you've got a fuel save just a wee bit, but the car itself is an easy drive, uncomplicated. We've got the fuel. Catching up to the back end of Mr. Rubelar and Mr. Kawakami in the Lexus. Here's Mr. Inostroza then. Here's your new car, sir. This will be your boy. Going into that final round. Lap 14. We've got plenty of juice left. We're going to go to put in an absolute stonker in on the final lap. See if we can get that 135. Mr. Beauvoir in 15th place. Oh, Mr. Yamanaka exits the pits just in front of him. I'd like this to be pink or purple. Down by a 10th. We haven't twiddled the fuel gauge like we did on the GT4. See if we get anywhere near the red or the pink or the green or the grey. There it is, quarter of a second. That will put us into a 135 final lap. There aren't many cars that have been quicker, maybe two that I can mention. Does this do it? 135. No, it doesn't. Unlucky, that last little twitch and then cutting through the grassy knoll cut it away from us. But there she is. Absolute blinder of a Porsche option. If you don't own it yet, it's one to pick up. RUF being a tuning house, so this isn't Porsche developed, this is privately developed car. So the CTR3 07 is absolutely a stonker, a 25.30. There aren't many cars faster than that. That'll give the adequate time. It lapped up to 11th place, which is pretty decent. There aren't many that get up there. I think we've had one that's got to 7th. But that'll be in a class of its own. Fastest lap of 136.113 on lap 8. And with it just being the driver being a difference between the good time and that one. Pretty much solid. Definite winner of the old clean race bonus. 22 million in the bank now. I think we're at a point where we can purchase those cars we want to from the garage. And there we have it. Well, folks, the decision of yours. If that's the car you want, there's the two Porsches together. And we'll see you on the next one. All the best. Take care.